All right, good afternoon, everyone. So yes, I'm not in my studio today, but you see, the you know what we say, the life of a parent, right? The life of a parent. I was at a session the other day, and no, I was reading an article, and no, I was at a session. Yes, I was at a session, and the debate in that session was parenting, career, and then, of course, running a home. The difficulty in parents having to balance all of these things that call for their attention. And it was agreed at that session that it's not the easiest feat, being able to balance all of these important things in your life that call for your attention. All right. So yes, I'm a parent, and this is me. I'm supposed to be in my studio right now, but an emergency came, and here I am outside my home. But hey, the show must go on. I'm outside my studio, but then again, I said the show must go on. We cannot call our, we cannot send messages and start saying we can't do this today because something came up. So here I am. Where is everyone? Let's do this. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources, and I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. And this is the Skill Up Show. The Skill Up Show is that show where we come and we share very important topics. Okay, we look at things that are pressing, things that are challenging, or issues that come up in our parenting, or ways that we can make our parenting better, ways that we can be more effective as parents, and ways that we can support our children to maximize their potential or to live their full potential. Now we look at these topics that are really very universal because they are the same issues that come up in parenting, whether you live in Africa, in Europe, in America, or in, Asia, wherever at all that you live. These issues can actually be really very universal. And so when we're able to, share tips on them, we give parents, a starting point to go on and, take on their journey. You can practice what we share with you here for an entire week and you will begin to see results. Now, we also understand that these results from tips are not enough because there's much more to parenting than just the little tips that you get here and there. So we say to parents, okay, when you have practiced this and you see that there is an effect, it means that there is a lot more that you can do. So go ahead and seek the help that you can. Seek the collaboration, the partnership, okay, the knowledge that you can get to become even better at the things that you do. And that's why we are here. We're here to support you in many ways, especially if you're a parent of a preteen or a parent of a young child or a preteen. You have children between the ages of 6 and 14. These are the group of children that we work with a lot. Yes, and guess what? We can now help you even with your toddler. Okay, we do that. We actually do a lot of stuff and we do things that, span down even to toddlers. All right, because we actually have a formidable team at the PTM. We have a team with an expert in early years education and early years training, basically. We have an expert in curriculum development and all that. And we are going to be doing more, okay, in this area, just because we're always having people ask us questions. Okay, what do I do? Is there nothing you have for toddlers and all of that? So we would have things from time to time, okay, from the team that will also cover your young children and toddlers, and you can run with that also. All right. So today we're looking at how your home is a first school. Okay. Your home is the first school, and in that home is where your child will get their first set of training. All right. So we say the child's learning actually begins in school. It is at home. It is in the home that you will light up your child. It is in the home that you will set that, that light in the life of your child. And then the child can take that spark and go on and shine, on and on in their lives. So the home home is a very, very important factor in the development and the growth of your child. And so, how can you maximize, or how can you harness, and the the opportunity that you can give the opportunities that are present in your home, that can be a reason for your child to thrive? How can you do that? We've said over and over again, if you've been following me by now, I'm sure you've heard over and over again how the early years of your child's life are some of the most important time, some of the most important periods in their lives. We've said over and over again how the first 5 years of your child's life, the first 3 years, is where rapid brain development is happening. Up to the first 6 years of your life, of their lives, okay, of the life of a child, is when the child can learn, okay, in the most authentic and the most easy way. Okay, so that's the time that your child can learn in the most authentic and the most easy way. Okay, and then apart from that, that's the point where your child is having rapid brain development. So yes, this is the period where your child is at home more than they are anywhere else, and it really doesn't matter even if your child goes to school, to a center or something like that. So some people will be like, oh, my child went to a center when my child was 2 years old. Some even brag that their children went out when they were 1 year old. But I still tell you, even if your children go out at that stage, at that early stage of their lives, okay, the benefits that they can get from a home that is highly stimulated, a home that knowledge is a goal, okay, a home that you as a parent are very intentional about their learning, is a lot. Okay, and yes, we are looking at how you can use your home, even for your kids who are older than just the little ones. Okay, how you can use your home, or how you can maximize your home to help your children prepare for this school year. All right, so that's what we're looking at. The Skill Up Show is a very short show. So usually we're here for about 20 minutes. About 30 minutes, and we'll run off, and we're going to try and keep that because it's really not very conducive. Okay. Streaming from I'm sure you can see that I'm actually outdoor. You can see that I'm actually outdoor somewhere outside. All right. So it's not the easiest thing to do to stream here. So we're going to make the show as short as possible. All right. So the word at home, when you are when you want to create, the home as the first place for learning, the first thing you want to do, your home, okay, bearing in mind that your home is the first school that your child would attend, that your home is the first place when learning is going to be initiated. Okay, your home is the first place where your child's curiosity and your child's learning will be sparked. Bearing that in mind, what can you do as a parent to maximize that space, or maximize, the relationship that you have to ensure that your children can learn even while they are at home? Okay, so the first thing you want to do as a parent is prepare that space. Okay, prepare that space for the child's learning. So how do you prepare the space for your child's learning? Is to be intentional from the beginning. So you're intentional from the beginning because you have decided that this space is a training ground. This space is a training ground. And so everything that is happening here is going to leave the child more knowledgeable. Okay, there is what we call the principle of first mention. So you want to make sure that while your child is at home, okay, all that they will encounter in their everyday life, what they will see when they step out of your home, is first encountered at home. So for your early years, for your children who are infants and toddlers, what can you do in your home? What kind of environments can you create in your home that will create that first experience for them? Okay, so that they can understand what is out there. All right, so what do you do? So I say to parents, now ask yourself, what kind of child am I raising? What impression of the world do I want to give my child? How do I want my child to see the world? Now, the world that you want your child to see, or the perspective that you want your child to see the world as, is the perspective that you are going to visualize and create an environment that will allow you pass that perspective to your child. So, are you creating a world, or do you want your child to see your world as a place where there are limitless opportunities? Okay, that is, if you ask me, that is what I think every parent should help their children see. See their home as a place where there is limitless responsibility. I mean, limitless opportunities. So your children need to see the world as their playground. They need to see the world as a space full of opportunity. They need to see the world as a space where that is an extension of who they are. So from inside, what they carry inside can be extended into that space, into the world, basically. So your children need to see themselves as people who are created to conquer the world. Now, if that is what you're seeing, that it means that there is no part of the world, or there is no part of what is in the world that you will not make your children think that they can access. So you need to help your children understand that you can access anything in the world. You can find yourself anywhere in the world. There is no limit to where you can go, where you can be, what you can do in the world. Okay. And so if that is the case, then you want to present that to them. All right. If you're presenting that to them, then it means that you want to broaden their scope. So it means that right from when your children are young, you're going to start sharing with your children. You're going to start showing your children. You're going to start taking your children to varying kinds of places so that your children can begin to see the world for what it is. All right. So for this academic year, you are a parent that wants to teach your child that there is no limit to where they can be, where they can go, and what they can explore in the world. What you want to do is you want to introduce research in your home. You want to introduce a lot of research. You want to introduce a lot of exploration in your home. Research, exploration. So geography is going to be a big thing in your home. Okay, geography is going to be a big thing in your home. Maps are going to be a big thing in your home. Taking those virtual tours are going to be a big thing in your home. Going for field trips is going to be a big thing in your home. Okay, so we are talking about how we can help our children, how we can maximize the home as the first school for our children. Okay, that's what we're talking about today. How you can maximize your home as the first school for your child. Now, we talked about the fact that if you are going to show your children, okay, if you're going to show your children the world, then you have to decide what perspective of the world you want to show your children, how you want your children to view the world, how you want their children to see the world. Now, if you are like me and you want to present to your children that the world is is a place that has no cap to it. They can be anything, they can be anywhere, they can flourish anywhere in the world they find themselves. So what you want to do, number one, is you want to show them that world. So if you're going to show them the world that you think that they can explore, the world that you think that they can conquer, the world that you think that they can impact, the world that you think that they can, anywhere they find themselves, they can be anything they want to be in that space. You know how the scripture says that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof it, meaning the Lord has given us the earth, right? And then we should go and subdue it and all of that. So if that's what you want to see, that's what you want to portray to your child, then you have to help your children see the world. And I just talked about geography, basically going to be a thing. So there's going to be a lot of research. So what is appropriate for your 1-year-old? The research knowledge of the world. So you have to do a lot of knowledge and understanding of the world. There's something like that they do in preschool, knowledge and understanding of the world. So you need to start in your home to give your children the knowledge and understanding of the world. Okay, what is the world? Okay, what is their environment? So teach your children all about the environment around them and all of that. Now you're going to ask me how you're going to go about this. Now, I wrote a post earlier today and I said this month, okay, at the academy, we have decided that we are going to equip parents seriously on how they can support their children and help their children maximize their potential to excel in the classroom and beyond the classroom. This is what we're going to be doing. So we have a series of events that are actually planned for this month. So you want to keep your eyes on this space for every week, at this time. Okay, on Monday at 1 p.m., we're going to have a topic every week that is going to border around this. Apart from that, we're going to have a master class, right? We're going to have a master class where we are going to be planning with you. In that master class, we want you to actually go all out to plan, not like, so that you're not like every average parent out there that is just thinking the children are going back to school. And what are you thinking about? How to buy them new backpacks and lunch boxes and new bags, new uniforms and all of that. How exactly are you preparing for your children to excel and maximize their potential this school year? So we're going to have a master class where we would help parents, right, to look at where they are coming from, where the children are coming from in the last school year. You want to look at that, okay, and then you want to set fresh goals with the children, fresh expectations and commitments with the children. And then, so it's going to be a goal setting class, and it's going to be a question and answer session for you and your children to set goals for the next academic year. Now, we're big on a holistic or approach to learning. So we're big on a holistic approach to learning, and we are big on raising a wholesome child. So every time we're talking about your children's education and your children's learning, we're not just talking about academics, we're talking about every area of their lives. But at the PTM, because the academic is something that we also pay huge attention to indirectly, okay, we pay huge attention to the academics indirectly because we understand that there's so many things that are like the roots, okay, and when we deal with the roots, then the fruits will be rich. And what your children academic prowess is actually the fruits of all the work that have been done. So we do the real work and then you see the fruits. So that's what we do at the academy, especially at the Mastermind Circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group for children. So we work on the roots, we work on all the things that need to be in place. Okay, so think of your child as a plant, okay? Think of your child as a plant, that what you would see eventually as a parent is the fruit of that plant. How rich, yes, the fruits of that plant is dependent on how rich the plant itself is. So what we do is we focus on the roots, the source, basically, where the child is getting the source, where the child is getting everything, the root that is sipping in all the things that is needed for the plants to flourish and for the plants to produce the right kind of fruit. So we focus there, and every time we see the right fruits. We focus there and we see the right fruits all the time. So most of our programs are tied to the academic year because we understand that after the whole year, that's when most of us take our stock. At the end of the school year, that's when we take our stock. That's when you'll be like, okay, the child has made improvements and all of that. So we always do what we do most times at the beginning of September. And that's why even in the Mastermind Circle, we start our new cohort in September. So that when you are doing all your reviews, your reviews at the end of the school session, you can do it in all areas of their lives once and for all. Okay, so yes, you need to lock it down, just focus on this space in this month of August and September. There is a child who excels. About that. Sorry about that. Remember, I am outdoor, okay, and I'm using my mobile device. I'm so sorry about this. So there's going to be interruption here and there. All right, sorry about this, but we didn't want to make excuses. The show has to go on, and so that's why we are here outdoor trying to get this done. You can see me, you can hear me. That's what is important, right? Good. So if you can see me, the message is clear, the person is clear. Okay, then we're good. All right, so let's roll. All right, so I just talked about number one. So that's what you want to do, number one. Okay, So, and this is all age appropriate. So for your toddlers, how do you want them to see the world? Begin to program that. Okay. Someone said the video is not showing anymore. Is it showing now? Please let me know if the video is showing now. I had a mobile call coming in. I was using my mobile. I'm using my mobile phone, of course. So I had a call that was coming in. Let's see if there's a way I can even stop that from happening again. All right. Can you see the video now, please? If you can see the video now, can you share with me in the comments? Can you see the video now? Please share with me in the comments if you can see the video now. Okay. So I'm just going to go on hoping that you can see it now, because you couldn't see it at the time because I had a call coming in. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Yes, it's showing now. Thank you very much, Christabel. All right, so that's it. So that's number one. Number one, you want to show your children the world as you want them to see it. All right. So number two, you want to decide, okay, with the children what the goals are for this year. I just talked to you about why we're focusing on September. So it's the beginning of a school year, so it's a good time. Okay, so as I said, a lot of parents at this point are thinking of what to buy, so that's also nice because you have to prepare them that way. But more than that, you also want to prepare them for the school year mentally. Okay, so this is the time. Remember, at the end of the school year, we say, oh, don't get upset with them. Don't beat them for the bad grades. Don't do all of those things. Let them have a summer holiday, all right, and all of that. Now, this is the period just before they get back to school. Some of them still have a whole 3 weeks, 4 weeks, some 1 week to get back to school. So this is the perfect time. You now want to sit down with your children and review what it is that last session was like. So what was the last session like? Okay, now this is happening at home. Now the school will not have a chance to do this with your children, or chances are the school will not do this for your children. Now that's why we say your home is the first school, and your home is a perfect place. It's the most perfect place for educating your children first. Okay. The school and every other places are just supporting you. The home is the first and most important school. So now you want to sit down and look at that result. Look at those performances, the academic part of it, the other part of it where they sent you a report on how the child is doing behaviorally, their social emotional skills, their psychological skills, their emotional, all of that. You want to put all of that into perspective. Now sit down with the child and try to understand the reason behind the outcomes that the child had in the last school year. So you want to sit down and have this conversation. If it's a child who has done well relatively in the last school year, what you want to do is you want to raise the bar. At no point should you make your children feel that they are it. At no point should you make your children feel that they have arrived, because there is no arrival destination really. Okay. Thomas Edison had over 1,000 patent rights, and meaning he had over 1,000 inventions, and it didn't stop him. Okay, it didn't stop him until he passed on. He wasn't just an inventor, he was one of the most, he was a businessman. Okay, he was a businessman. So he didn't stop at, oh, I have invented things. No, he wanted to market his invention. He wanted everybody, every part of the world to enjoy of what he was that he had to impact the world. So never make your children feel or think that they have arrived. Always learn to raise the bar. Always learn to make them understand that there is much more to conquer. Okay? Them who did well, this is the time you want to broaden their scope. Help them see people ahead of them. Okay? Help if you can identify the area where your child has an interest, or to research and find people in that area who have done remarkably well. Give your children something to look up to, someone to look up to. Show your children the possibility of their excelling. Okay, when they excel, tell them and show them them simply because they excel. And these possibilities do not just all have to be about money. You guys know I'm very big on financial knowledge for children. there are dimensions to this. So is it impact? Show them people who have gone ahead of them that have impacted the world and have changed the world. Show them this. And this is done right now before they get back to school. Let's It's not the grades. Tell them that the grades is the fruit of what is inside of them. The grades is the fruit of what it is that they have achieved. So when they achieve all of these other things, the grades will show automatically. So help your children understand that it begins here, it begins here. It begins in the mind. They are winning, okay? Their ability to. And so when they have made up their mind that they want to win this term, when they've made up their mind that they want to excel this term, when they've made up their mind that excelling has now become a lifestyle, then you have started, you no one can take away from your children. So if you want your children to excel in this school year and you want to maximize your home as a place to help your children excel, your home as the first school, then you need to be a parent who knows how to connect with your child's mindset, with your child's mind, with the way your child perceives things. Okay, so you want to work on your child's mindset. That's the second thing you want to do. Okay, so you want to work on that and let them understand why they need to win, why they have to win, why they have to excel. Okay, and let them find out why they want to excel. So do this with your children. And always, as I said, always when I give you this, I will always tell you, go back and make it age appropriate. So go to your toddler and then sit with your toddler and say to your toddler, oh, your literacy was good last year, but it can be better. How can I help you? Okay, so you want to find out, how can I help you? What was the part that you found the most difficult last year? What was the part that you found the most difficult last year? Okay, so that we can see how we can help you with that. Have these conversations with your children. Why do you think you have been struggling with writing, your handwriting? What is it? Is it like you can see clearly? Is it like the board is too far? Is it like you're not patient? What is it? Mommy or daddy wants to help you. Have these conversations with your children, okay? And then when you have these conversations with them, let it be about them, okay? Let them know that you are just here to help them. But it is all about them more than it is about you. It's not even about you, it's about them. But that you are here to give them 100% support, okay? So when you have reached this, the child understands why it's about him. Your teenager understands why excelling is about him. Your toddler understands why this is about him. Your preteen understands why this is about him. Then your work is halfway done because the child understands that it is about him. Okay, so number 3, as I said, all of these things we're saying to you, okay, we're going to put all of this in perspective. We're putting all of this in perspective, and we have programs lined up for the whole of September, August, and some of September to help you create something tangible that you can use, so that it's not just words. You can see something that you have created to make this happen. Okay, and we're going to be talking a lot about this during the planning and the Q&A planning and goal setting session. We're going to be doing that. Okay, all right, so that's it. So the next thing you want to do, number 3, is you want to create structure that would allow all of this run. All right, so now you have the perspective of the world that you want your child to see. You already created a picture of how you want your child to see the world and what is possible. All right, you've done that. Number 2, you already looked at the challenges that your child had from the last school year, and you already had this conversation with them about why they struggled here and there, okay, or what more they can do even if they excelled last time. You have done this with them, and they now know it's more about them than it is about you. This is established. The next thing you want to do is create the structure that all of this is going to run in. Okay, so now it doesn't matter even if your child is in boarding school. It really doesn't matter even if they are in boarding school. You can actually create something. Okay, you can actually create and put something on ground before your child goes to boarding school, and you create a system of accountability accountability where your child gives you feedback. Okay, you create a system where your child will give you feedback. This is what we're doing with the children in the mastermind who are going to boarding school. So the children in the mastermind who are going to boarding school, we're going to have some of these sessions with them, and then we're going to create a system for them, an accountability system where they will continue to do, to do what they have to do, even while they are in school, to let us know the progress and what's going on with them. We have a system where we're going to be able to reach them based on what is approved in their different schools. So we're not leaving our partners in the mastermind who are going to boarding school. We're not leaving them alone. We're still going to support them, whether they're at home or they are in school. But all of this has to be initiated from the home, because the home is the first school, and the home is a place where all of this can be ground. I mean, you can ground all of this in, okay, in a way that no school can do. All right. So you want to create a structure for all of this to run, within. So in that structure, you will have routines. In that structure, you would have the times that you're going to be supporting your child. Okay. You will create a system for supporting your child. Okay. Now, this is when parents will be like, oh, okay, I don't even have time. I'm going to get a lesson teacher and all of that. Now, parents, if it's not necessary, you don't need, to a huge extent, especially for you, the parents of a child in elementary school, I promise you, you really do not need lesson teachers. The reason you have all these lesson teachers is because we don't do the basics. We don't get the basics right. Okay, we don't get the basics right. Now, because we don't get the basics right, we don't do all of these things that we're talking about. Now, because all of this is not in place, what happens? Your children are running on a no plan kind of, program. There is no plan. There are no specific expectations beyond the grades. So because you don't have specific expectations beyond grades, right? So your children are just running on a free flow, okay? And they are not, there isn't the motivation is not intrinsic, it's not internal. So they always need that external person to motivate them. So that's why you bring in, because you concur with this, that's why you bring in all those lesson teachers to come and keep motivating your children. But your children cannot run on the fuel from other people over and over again. They need to build their own stamina. Okay, they need to build stamina. And if you don't allow children build stamina, you get people to always support them. You get people who always foil them, always foil them, always foil them. The truth about it is they don't internalize as well as a child who is self-motivating. Okay, and these things, the results of it show much later, not now. They actually show much later. A child that has always been externally motivated and a child that has learned to motivate themselves early in life, I tell you, when they find themselves in the same place later in the future, you find out that the child that has always self-motivated is more driven than a person that has always had people motivating them externally. So you want to, as I said at the beginning, you always want to look at what is it that what kind of child do I want to raise? What kind of child do I want to raise? How do I want them to perceive the world? Okay, so based on the kind of child that you want to raise, then the support that you will give the child is going to match the kind of child that you want to raise. So yes, you can say, oh, yes, I bring lesson teacher. The lesson teacher help my children. They do well in school. They pass well in school and all of that. So how is it different from someone that does not have, that decides not to have a lesson teacher and all of that? I beg, I don't get power. But the truth about it, remember that whatever you're doing, it is what is at the root that is more important than the fruits that you are seeing. Okay, so the child that is learning to drive themselves, the child that is learning to self-motivate, will build stamina in that skill, the ability to problem solve, self-motivate, and all of that. Now, when real life situations come, when they find themselves, as they grow and they come to that space where how driven you are is where your result is going to come from. I promise you, that child that has driven himself for years after years, right from when they were 6, that child has been driving themselves. Okay, and that child that has been that has been driven by external forces will never be the same. Their drives will never be the same. It cannot be the same. All right, so that's the That's the third thing that you want to do. Create that system. Okay, create that system that will help all of this, put all of this in perspective, and will help all of this to work. All right, the next one you want to do is you want to help your child self-direct. Okay, you want to put your child in a space where your child can direct themselves and your child can begin their journey of consolidation. This is all that the mastermind circle is about. The mastermind circle is for parents who have reached the point where they have supported their children and they are ready to give their children wings to fly. That's what we see. Okay, so when you have supported your child or you're supporting your child, and while you're doing it, you're not afraid to give your child wings to fly. Okay, you're not afraid to allow your children make mistakes. You have reached the point where you understand that as much as I'm supporting this child, as much as I'm doing all of this for this child, the child is very important in their own life. And the earlier they understand how important they are in their own life and how it's important they can take the front stage or the lead in their own life, the better. As we said, the earlier you start whatever it is that you're doing with your children, the better for you and for them. Okay, you know about the 10,000 hour rules. The truth is, these things are principles and these things are true. These things are principle and these things are true. Research has shown over and over and over again that children who begin to do chores early, children who did chores at home, who started to do chores early, are more responsible and they do well in the workplace. They do better in the workplace than people who were waited on and people who didn't do chores. Okay, so liken this to it. I have this saying that I love to say over and over again, and it says, "Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I will learn." So what you are doing is involving the child in their own life, allowing them to start making small important decisions, right, in their own lives because they can. Okay, because they can. The rule is whatever it is that your child can do for themselves, then do not do it for them. I repeat, whatever it is that your child can do for themselves, then do not do it for themselves. There is the part of the brain that will not get stimulated until children learn to stretch themselves. So as a parent, it is your responsibility to constantly put your children in environments and then introduce them to situations where they have to stretch themselves. Okay, so when you create all of this support, you have supported them, you have found out all that the challenges are and all of that, you support them. Always learn to step back and put them in systems where your children can stretch themselves. So for the records, my children do not do lesson teachers. My children do not do lesson teachers. And then for the record, I also do not help my children solve their homework. Okay. So if you come home from school with your homework, okay, it's your responsibility to actually attempt your homework. However, the children know that if they need to be supported, they can reach out, or if they need clarity on something, they can reach out to me or reach out to any of us who is available. Now, when they reach out, we come in and we look at what it is that they are doing. And what we do is we give them prompts and then we point them. Most times, if you check, it's not as if the children do not know. The children are possibly just confused about something, a concept somewhere there, or they probably missed something that they did not see clearly, or they didn't copy a problem properly. Okay, so a lot of the times, what is missing that your child is not able to do his homework is not usually a lot. It's usually the simple things. And what you need to do is go in there and help point them to that thing that they are probably missing, or that thing that they are not paying attention to. Now, when you do that, you point them and then you leave them and give them the opportunity to solve that problem on their own. Every time your children solve problems, hi Amala, how are you doing? Every time children solve problems on their own, every time children push themselves, every time children drive themselves to create solutions or to find solutions, okay, then they open up themselves for more learning to happen. They open up themselves for more brain development. They open up themselves for more challenges. But if you are not allowing them try by always stepping in to solve their problem, then you are not going to allow them. You're not going to allow them achieve these things. Okay, you won't allow them achieve these things, and this is part of what you want to pay attention to if you want them to succeed in this school year. All right, give them wings to fly. Allow your children step into the place of consolidation. Help them self-direct. So after you have supported them, step away and let them begin to direct themselves, and let them, you know, get the wings to fly on their own. All right. So the last one is allow your children to make mistakes. I have said that. I always say that. I say give your children permission to fail. Give your children permission to fail, because some of the biggest lessons in life are the lessons that we learn after we have failed. Yes, some of the biggest lessons are the lessons that we learn after we have failed. I've told the story before of how our son, when he was learning to cook, okay, when he was learning to cook, I had come in one of those days, and he was really very excited that I had just come in. He wanted to show me something that he just figured out, you know. And while he was doing that, he forgot that he had something in the kitchen. It took a neighbor screaming, you know, to let us know that the kitchen was, as in, there was just fire on the mountain. By the time we ran in, I got to the living room, and everywhere was like pitch dark, smoke everywhere. It had extended from the kitchen. So the thing was, he actually had oil on the fire. So you know how oil can be. So, you know, everything got burnt, you know, and the fume was piffing from every area in the kitchen. So the neighbor saw the fume coming out, and she started screaming. All right. So at that point, I came in, I saw how crazy it was in the living room. I was able to make my way to the kitchen, and I saw, you know, I turned off the gas, you know, got back, made sure the children were okay, and then I went back to like tackle it. By the time his dad came home, it was no way, he's not getting to the kitchen anymore. I'm like, no way, he's going back to the kitchen tomorrow morning. Like, he's going back right there tomorrow morning. Because if you yank him off that space because he had just made a mistake, then that's the perspective you're going to leave in his head. Okay, that's the impression you're going to leave in his head, that you made a mistake, meaning you're not good enough, you're not good at this, you can't do this thing right. So you realize that the next time, after giving him a break, he doesn't want to venture back, you know, he doesn't want to try again, because it's the mistake that you left. That was the last impression you left with the child, that mistake and how you can do this. But no, if you allow the child go back and face it, okay, but after you have finished sitting down and looking at all the things that went wrong. What are all the things that went wrong? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? What could you have done differently? And all of this, I'm not saying keep the child and begin to give the child a lecture. I'm saying all of this, allow the child to profile all of this, you know, let the child be the one answering all of these questions. What could have this? What could have that? What did you do wrong? What did you do right? And all of that. By the time you do this, what have you done? You have given them a chance to retrace their step and then make better choices or decisions the next time. And so send them back armed with those new, armed with the new tools that you have given them. Okay, so at the end of the day, that was how we arrived at not leaving the kitchen, not going beyond a few feet away from the kitchen when you are cooking. So now when he's cooking, he stays in the kitchen. Now he knows that while the stew is frying, while he's frying the tomato, he can actually do the dishes while he's doing that. He knows that while he's frying the tomato, he can actually put the pot on the fire to boil the rice simultaneously. He knows that, there are other things that he can do in that kitchen and be busy in the kitchen while he's cooking. Sometimes you actually see him with his book that he's reading in the kitchen. So he's reading and he has his book with him, like, okay, while I'm waiting, for the thing I will just be right there, reading, and that way I can check, and all of that. So this is how, and this is the same thing that we take in every area of their life. We apply the same principles in every area of their life, even in their academics. It's the same thing. Why did you go wrong? Why did you think this went wrong? And all of that. Okay. So as I said, we're going to have a number of events coming up in this month. Okay. This month, from now to the month of September, all of it, curated to help you create an environment for your child to learn effectively, to help you curate the right mindset for your child to see themselves as the most important person when it comes to their learning, and when it comes to their learning, when it comes to them and what they want to achieve basically in their lives. Okay, we also want to help you create the perspective, okay? What perception of life do you want your child to have? We want to help you be able to create that and help your child see life the way you want to help them see it, okay, at this stage in their lives. We also want to help you sit and create the right plans for the school year, okay? And when I say the school year, I'm not talking just about academics. You know, we like to bunch things and do it around the school year so that when we are doing our evaluation at the end of the school term, you can evaluate every other aspect of their lives. So we're going to help you in that session to sit down. A it's going to be a question and answer planning session. Okay, so we're going to sit down, question, answer, planning. We're going to plan. So you will create a plan for your children. And then we will take you through how you can create the environment for your child to learn at home. You may not need that lesson teacher. In fact, you do not need that lesson teacher. But then again, how can you create the environment in your home that makes you understand that you really do not need these people that you pay 70,000, 100,000 every month? When I tell you to come and pay 50,000 naira for the mastermind for an entire year, you will call me and be asking me, "Ma, the price is plenty. Can it be tomato price? Calm down." Okay. Meanwhile, we are paying 70K, 100K to lesson teacher per term, just because what is term per month? Okay, you're paying 50, 60, 70, 80. And I'm not saying this because I'm guessing, I'm saying this because once upon a time, I actually worked, in a classroom, and I know what teachers are paid. There are times I've had to work with parents and support, the children at home. And I know I did not collect 50K from any parent. Okay. And some of these things, when we say to parents, do this, you're always like, "Oh, I will kill them." There's nothing that hurts, as in there's nothing that's make me give parents bombastic side eye. Like that's those parents that say, "I beg, I can't teach my child, I will kill the child." What are you talking about? You keep saying, I can't teach the child, or I will beat them, I will kill them. Yet, when you hear that a teacher in school, as much as says something not nice, even the slightest thing not nice, you will go there ready to go and fight them. And yet you can open your mouth and agree that if you deal with one child, you will kill them. Yes, you will go to someone who deals with 20, 30, and you ask them why they could not do better. Okay. And some of you, when we talk, you say, "Oh, the teacher's training." What teacher's training? If you, especially you're in Nigeria, what teacher's training are you talking about? If you know any teacher that you're really very close to, go and ask them what teacher's training they give them. The way you went to university and did your class, went to do medicine or physics or chemistry. That's why these people sat down with the same teachers, and they taught them about education. There's in the training, right? In the training, especially in this part of the world. Let me talk about this part of the world. In the training, there isn't really that's really focused on emotional intelligence and all of these things. So some of these teachers you see are people who have just had to, go the extra length to train themselves, attend some of these trainings that we have just to, become better as people. And it's the same thing we're saying. Do, parents, get the knowledge, get equipped, and you will do. Okay, you will support your child, as well. Let the teachers focus on the methodology and let them focus on concept and pedagogy or all of these other things. Why you focus on connecting with your children. And if I tell you how much, you can tap into, helping your children, just leveraging the connection that you have with them. Connection is the number one thing in your ability to influence another human being. Connection is the number one thing in your ability to teach or train another person. So yes, it's the same concept. It's actually the same, principle. If you connect as a parent, I promise you can teach your children anything. So we're not saying bring your children at home and start teaching them physics and chemistry if that's not your line. That's not what I'm talking about here. As I said before, you see those results, chemistry, physics, all those results, the A's that they get, there's just the fruits. It's the same thing that happened at the root level. You can deliver what it takes for your child to excel, okay, at the root level. What needs to be in place to raise a child who can excel in school and in every other area of their life. You can do that part. Okay. Now, when all of that is in place, then your child is able to learn the concepts and every other thing that they need to learn, the one that only the professionals or only the professional teacher can teach them because it's not your field. Every other thing, I promise you can do. All right, thank you very much. I cannot even believe this. I achieved this just parking at the roadside. So I actually parked at the roadside. As I said at the beginning of this video, it's a lot being a parent and every other thing, putting all of these things together, putting you